Okay. So we'll start with what is Snowflake and what are the futures in Snowflake, each and every topic, guys. So, guys, are you aware of like data warehousing, right? You know what is data warehousing? So we have something called data warehouse. Data warehouse. Data warehouse means it is a centralized storage of data. So we have some storage, centralized storage of data or centralized repository, guys, where we are going to store the data. It's a centralized repository of storing large files, of storing large data, storing large data. So now Snowflake means when you say Snowflake, Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehouse. Snowflake, it is a cloud-based data warehouse. Cloud-based data warehouse. It's a cloud-based data warehouse. And we can say Snowflake is a SaaS application. SaaS means software as a service case. Software as a service. Software as a service. So here, software as a service. So here, you don't require anything for installation. You don't require any installation kind of things here. Directly, you can able to log in and use the application. You can log in and you can able to use the application. Directly, you can log in. You can able to use that application. You don't like a example of the SaaS applications. I can say like Gmail applications, Gmail, Facebook application. So a lot of applications directly you can able to log in, you can able to use this case. Directly you can able to log in, you can able to use this. So data warehouse means it's a centralized repository where you are going to store the large amount of data. So you are going to use this data, we are going to store the data. Finally, you are going to use this data for business intelligence activities. For business intelligence activity, BA activities, you can say BA activities. So what are the BA activities means such as data analysis? We can do something like data analysis based on this data. If I have some historical data, think like this, last 1 month sales data I'm having. Historical data means last 1 month sales data I'm having. So I'm going to check what is the most saleable product, from which product I'm getting more revenue, from which product I'm getting more profit. All these things I can able to do analysis case. So I have some historical data. I'm going to do the data analysis based on this. Data analysis I'm going to do. And reporting. Based on that, I'm going to report. I'm going to prepare reports. Prepare reports. So example, I can say I have lost 1 month data, 1 month sales data. Sales data I'm going to have. So with this data, with this sales data, so I need to find out from which product we are getting, customer is like client is getting more profit, so we need to analyze and we need to write some queries to get the data. Or we can say this, from which product is more saleable product or most saleable product. So like this, and finally we are going to prepare the reports, guys. Finally we are going to prepare the reports. This will take care of the like Power BI team. So Snowflake means it's a cloud-based data warehouse. It is like a software as a service where we can log in, we can use the application directly, guys. We can able to log in, we can able to use that application directly, guys. So example like a Gmail, Facebook kind of applications. Okay. Now we are going to use Snowflake for data loading, analysis, and reporting huge volume of data. So we are going to use Snowflake. We are going to use Snowflake for. I have a PPTs. I will go through the PPTs after this case. So we are going to use Snowflake for data loading. So we are going to load the data, and we are going to analysis the data, analyzing. We are going to analyze the data. Okay. And reporting the huge volume of data. We are going to. So Snowflake come into existence, maybe like Snowflake is founded kind of thing. So in 2012, guys, Snowflake, it is there from 2012. It started in 2012. So from last 3 years, it is like one of the hot technologies in the market. Okay. So and one more thing here, guys. By using Snowflake, okay. So we can able to do the data loading, data analysis, and data storage also. We can able to store the data. We can able to use the Snowflake for data storage purpose, data loading, and you can able to analyze the data. Okay. And if you want to use the Snowflake, you need to use some cloud providers. See here, I told like cloud-based data warehouse. So directly you can able to log in, you can able to use the Snowflake. And one more thing, Snowflake don't has its own infrastructure. So normal traditional data warehouses, if there is any traditional data warehouses, you need to install you require some resources. Maybe you require some servers, you require some clusters where the servers are going to connect. You require some warehouses, you require. But here Snowflake, you don't require anything. Directly you are going to log in, you are going to use it. So Snowflake don't have its own infrastructure, guys. Don't have its own infrastructure. Snowflake don't have any own infra, guys. So just Snowflake is software as a service. It is run on the cloud. So you don't have any overhead of maintenance cost, all these things. It is going to run on Azure or AWS or Google Cloud platforms, guys. So in normal thing like this, in your colleges, guys, can you able to understand what I am saying? My voice is clear, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So in your college, maybe in the lab or something, you have some server. So server and like group of computers which are connected in the network. So here you don't require any resources. You don't require any resources like servers or like any like installation kind of things, not required. Everything is cloud based. So Snowflake don't have its own infrastructure. It's run on cloud. It is going to runs on cloud. So what are the cloud Snowflake will support means? It will support for AWS, Azure, and GCP, guys. Google Cloud Platform. So we don't have any maintenance cost, guys. Okay. Now we'll go with the PPT. So I'll start with the PPT. At least you'll get an idea what is a Snowflake here. Snowflake means it's a cloud-based data warehouse. It is a software as a service. Directly you can log in, you can able to use that application. So we can use Snowflake for data storage, data loading, that is like data as a data storage, and you can able to load the data from different resources. I can say data loading from different resources or different storages. And we can able to analyze the data. Snowflake started in 2012. So right now it's like hot technology in the market. There's a lot of requirements. So Snowflake don't have its own infrastructure. So it is going to run on the cloud like AWS, Azure, or GCP. Okay, I'll go with the PPT now. So this is like data warehouse case. Data warehouse means you are getting, see here, data warehouse means you are getting the data from different sources. You are getting the data. Guys, please mute. I'm getting the resound. Okay. Guys, please mute. Okay. Now see here, we are getting the data from different resources, different applications, and this data they are going to store it in data warehouse. And the data which is in the data warehouse, they can able to use for reporting. They can do the analysis on that, and they can do the data mining. They can able to work on the data. So these things what they can able to do it like a data warehouse. Now when I say it's a Snowflake, Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehouse. So we are going to use for data loading analysis purpose. So it started in 2012. So like Snowflake don't have its own infrastructure. It is going to run on the cloud. Snowflake support for Azure, AWS, and GCP. So these things we have seen already. Now see here, guys. So software as a service, these things we have seen. Now see here, guys. Snowflake, I told you already, it is going to use for data storage, data processing. Processing means we are going to write some SQL queries and we are going to process the data. Whatever the data you are going to store in Snowflake, we are going to process that data. And finally, we are going to use for data analytics purpose. Okay. Now, why you want to go for Snowflake, guys? So we have a lot of like technologies in the market. Why you want to go for Snowflake? Why Snowflake? Why Snowflake? Okay. Now see here. If normal like data warehouses, I'll take a normal data warehouses. Okay. If I require some SQL or Oracle, any data warehouse case, first what I need to do it here. So first, if I have a data on premises case, if I have data on premises, not cloud case, on premises. On premises means maybe you have installed some Oracle or SQL data warehouses on premises. So think like this, SQL or Oracle. So we are maintaining some servers here. We are maintaining some servers. What you need to do it here means if you want to maintain a data in on premises, if you want, or if you have data or maintain data on premises data warehouses, what you require means, okay, first we need to buy the server. So we need to buy servers or computers, cluster of computers which has been connected, and you need to install, and you need to make the connections, and you need to connect them. So these things we need to do it, guys. If it is on premises, and if there is any maintenance work or something is there, so we need to update them. We need to update them regularly. We need to update them, guys. We need to regularly update them, and we need to do the maintenance. We need to take care of the maintenance. Take care of maintenance. Here, if you want to increase the storage price, or if you want to increase the processing power, guys, so think like this. I need to increase storage of the server. I need to increase the storage of the server. Storage, or if I need to increase okay, if I need to increase processing power, like a CPUs processing power, I need to increase. So at the time, again, you need to connect it in the server, guys. You need to connect it in the network again. So again, it's a tedious task for us. Every time you want to increase the storage, you need to add the external hard disk, or you need to add some hard disk for that to increase the storage capacity here. Or if you want to increase the processing power, every time you need to add some CPUs for that. So this is a tedious task for us, guys. But this is the problem when you have with the traditional data warehouses. This is the problem with the traditional data warehouses, guys. If you want to increase, if you want to scale up, if you want to increase the storage or the processing power, again, it's a tedious job for us. But in Snowflake, it will take care of everything by the Snowflake, guys. But here in Snowflake, when you go with the Snowflake, okay, so all these things are taken care by the Snowflake. All the above things are taken care by the Snowflake. By Snowflake. Everything is taken care by Snowflake. All these things is taken care by the Snowflake. And one more thing here, Snowflake, it's a pay for what you use model, guys. Pay for use. Pay for what you use model. Use model. Pay for use. Think like this. I'm using only 10 TB data. TB data for storage. I'm going to pay only for this. I'm going to pay for this monthly. So how much data storage you have used, you are going to pay for that case. How much data storage you are going to use, you are going to pay for it. And I have processed some data. Maybe I have used if you want to process some data. Okay, guys, storage means think like this. I have some data, I'm going to store it. Processing means I'm going to write some SQL queries, I'm going to process that data. So think like this. I have stored some 1 TB of data, 1 TB of data, which is a sales data. I have stored. Think like this. I have stored only 1 TB of sales data. TB of sales data. For that only I'm going to pay for that monthly. So processing means I have done the processing. I have done the processing. I have used the virtual warehouses. For processing, we are going to use something called virtual warehouses. Virtual warehouses for data processing. We are going to use it. So virtual warehouses, I have used only 3 hours. So every minute it is going to bill, guys. 3 hours I have used virtual warehouses in a month. So I am going to pay for only 3 hours. So here storage cost is different, processing cost is different. Storage cost is different, processing cost is different. Here total entire cost they are going to calculate, guys. Whenever you go for the normal data warehouses, storage and processing will be coupled. It will be coupled. Here it is decoupled. Here it is decoupled. So storage price is different. Storage cost is different. And processing cost is different. Cost is different. So if you are not going to do any processing for think like this in a month, I did not do any data processing. I don't want to pay anything less. So only you are going to pay for storage. Okay. So why you want to go for Snowflake means first one is it is a pay for what you use model, guys. So you are going to pay what you are going to use. And compared to the traditional data warehouses, it is 40 to 50% cheaper. 50% cheaper. Compared to SQL Server or Oracle or Teradata or SAP HANA kind of data warehouses, it is 40 to 50% cheaper. And one more thing is the main advantage. It is a cloud platform, so no infrastructure is required. You don't require any infrastructure. It's a cloud platform. It's a cloud platform. So no infrastructure required here. No infra required. It's a cloud platform, no infrastructure required. Okay. Now in Snowflake, what we can do it means it helps to, you can able to make some transformations. We can able to create a data pipelines here. So here we can able to, in Snowflake, we can do transformations, writing the SQL queries and writing on that and executing on the data. We are going to do some transformations. We can create a data pipelines. Data pipelines means if the data is available, directly it is going to load it, case. If the data is available, directly it is going to load it. Okay. Okay. So if the data is available, directly it is going to load it, case. Directly it is going to load. So you don't want to load it, directly it will be able to load it, case. So cloud means, okay, data pipelines. And so what is a cloud? Somebody is asking cloud. Cloud means it is a data storage where the digital data is stored on the remote server space. So cloud means it's a data storage. It's a data storage where digital files, whatever the files we have, CSV files or JSON files, anything, digital data, where the digital data is stored on remote servers. So what are the examples of a cloud, guys? Can you give some example of a cloud? We are using Gmail, right? Gmail Drive is there. Everybody is having Gmail Drive.
Yes, sir. Gmail,
cloud,
Facebook.
Right? Gmail Drive is a cloud. OneDrive is there. Microsoft OneDrive. It's a cloud. So data is going to store the digital data, which is going to store. It's for the data storage, which is going to store on the remote servers. Remote servers like a OneDrive, or like we have a Gmail also. In a Gmail, we have a Gmail, we have a drive access. Okay, that is called something like a cloud. Okay. Now, okay. Now see here, we can do the transformations, we can do the data pipelines, we can able to do it. We can able to create a visual dashboards by using Snowflake. We can able to create a visual dashboards. All these things we can able to be using Snowflake. Okay. And one more thing here, guys. Snowflake, okay, not required any data recovery kind of things here, because we have a feature called time travel. Okay, we have good compared to other traditional data warehouses. Compared to traditional data warehouses, we have very good features in Snowflake, guys. We'll discuss one by one feature. Okay, we have a very good features compared to Snowflake. Okay, now I'll open the PPT. So we have seen this. Why Snowflake means pay for what you use model. So it's a cloud platform. No infrastructure is required. It's more than like a data warehouse. We can able to do some transformations. We can able to do that, create a data pipelines, create a virtual dashboards, and highly scalable. We can able to increase the storage, or we can able to increase processing power. So data recovery, we can able to do it by using Snowflake. Backup, data sharing, we can able to do it. Data sharing means, think like this. I have some data. I want to share to some other. Maybe I want to share the data with you people. I can able to share it. And data masking is that. Data masking means, think like this. There is a bank account details. I don't want to show the bank account details to you people. When I'm doing the data sharing or something, I am going to mask that data. Okay. So all this information, like we can able to integrate with the data visualization, other party tools. You can able to analyze the data from external files, any different kind of file space. We'll see one by one. So these things we have seen. Why Snowflake? Now we'll see once the Snowflake account, how the Snowflake account look like. Okay. And then we can see difference between the traditional data warehouses and Snowflake, guys, and futures of Snowflake. And futures of Snowflake. So in this training, again, I'm saying in this training, I'm going to train you on SQL first. SQL. So because you are going to write all the SQL queries in Snowflake, guys. SQL queries only you are going to write on Snowflake. So then we'll start with the Snowflake. Then we are going to start from day one. We are going to work on Snowflake only, but then with Snowflake futures, I can say. Then with Snowflake futures, then we can go with something like a DBT, data build tool. Build tool. This is for transformations. This tool is for transformations. Entirely we have a practical sessions, guys. We don't have the theoretical sessions. Very less we have the theoretical sessions. Entirely practical. I'll show once the Snowflake account, how the Snowflake account look like. Again, I will start with the remaining topics, guys. In my notepad, see here, guys. This is my Snowflake account. So I'm going to log in here. Once you are going to register, you will get a link like this, guys. So I'll show that how the Snowflake look like. Just I will get it here. Okay. So I need to enter the username and password. I'm going to log in. So Snowflake account look like this, guys. So here you can create some SQL sheets. So I'm going to click on this. I need some SQL sheet. So this is the Snowflake account, how it look like, guys. This is a Snowflake account, how it look like. So these are the databases. Here we are going to write the SQL queries, guys. Here we are going to write some SQL queries. Here we are going to write it, guys. All the SQL queries here we are going to write it. So I will select some database. I'm selecting a database here. So it is loading the schemas. Just a moment. So any one schema, just I'm going to select it. So here I want to know what are the tables present in this case. I will type it here. What are the tables present here? Show tables. I'm going to execute this. Show tables. Just I'm executing this case. All the results you can able to see here, guys. All the results you can able to see here. This is the area where we are going to work, guys. This is the area where we are going to work. So I have, these are the tables I have. A lot of tables I have. These are the tables. I need the data from one of the table. Some orders table. I require some data from the orders table. Select star from orders. In the next class, I will guide you how you are going to create this account, and we are going to write a queries here. So here we have all the databases. Databases will be here, and you can able to see the results here, guys. This is the area which we are going to work with. This is the area which we are going to work. All the queries you are going to write here, and you will get the results here. All okay. Now come back to the Snowflake topics. Okay. So we are going to create an account. So trial account. So it will be valid for 30 days, guys. Once you are going to create an account, it will be valid for 30 days. Again, you need to create a new account after 30 days. With the same mail ID also you can able to create this. With the same mail ID also you can able to create after 30 days. Okay. Now we'll see what is the difference between the normal warehouses with a Snowflake. Normal, that is traditional warehouses with Snowflake. So traditional warehouses, they require the infrastructure, guys. They require the infrastructure. Yes, traditional warehouses, they require the infrastructure. But Snowflake, no infrastructure, no infrastructure. Directly you can able to log in, you can able to use it. Directly you can able to log in. You don't require any installations, nothing is here, guys. Register like a Facebook or a Gmail application. You are going to log in, you are going to use this application. Guys. That's all. So pay-per-use model. Now, next one, handling semi-structured data. Semi-structured data means we have some data like JSON data, JSON, Parquet kind of data space. We have some data, semi-structured data means. So you know what are the types of data, guys? Do you know what are the types of data? Anybody? Types of data? So we have a types of data. First one is structured data, guys. Structured data. Then you have something like semi-structured data. And finally, we have something like unstructured data.
Unstructured data.
Yes, yes. Unstructured data. Okay. Now, structured data means this is the data which is in the rows and columns. Data which is in rows and columns. Rows and columns. So I can take an example of this tables. In a table, the data is in the rows and columns. Or like we have something like Excel files. The data which are in the rows and columns. So which is a proper format, proper structure. That is called, it's a structured data. When I say semi-structured data, these data, we can able to understand this data. We can able to understand by seeing this data, we can able to understand. So we can understand this data. This data, but this data is not in a proper format. Like we can say email. Email is a semi-structured data. Emails, I can say emails. JSON data. JSON data. We have Parquet data. So these are something like semi-structured data. Semi-structured data. The data is not in a proper form. So we need to make it as a structure. We need to load the data. Unstructured data means this data we cannot able to understand the data at all. Like we have something like audio files, images, video files. So these are something like unstructured data, guys. Unstructured data. Okay. Now here by using Snowflake, we are going to work on these two data. semi-structured data and structured data. Semi-structured data and structured data we can able to use. We are going to work with this by using Snowflake. Now, coming back here to the PPT. Now see here, if you want to handle a semi-structured data, you require some ETL tools, guys. You require some ETL tools in the traditional data warehouses. In the traditional data warehouses, you require some ETL tools. Maybe you require some Informatica kind of tool to handle the semi-structured data. Informatica kind of ETL tools. But in Snowflake, you don't require any tool. Directly Snowflake can do this. Directly Snowflake can do this. So you don't require any third-party tool here. And data loading and unloading. Think like this. I have a data in S3 bucket. S3 means Amazon Web Services. I have a data in Amazon Web Services. I want to load the data means. So again, you require some ETL tools in traditional data warehouses. You require some ETL tools like Informatica kind of tool, guys. But when you come to the Snowflake, directly you can able to load by using copy command. You don't require any other third-party tools for loading or data unloading into Snowflake or handling the semi-structured data. Directly Snowflake can able to handle this. Scalability means I need to increase my processing power, that is like CPUs kind of thing, or I need to increase my storage. This is a difficult, tedious task. I need to get some extra hard disk. I need to connect to the servers. I need to add it. But here, directly we can able to do it. We can do scale up and scale out. We can able to increase the storage, or if you want to increase the processing power, we can able to increase, and we can able to decrease also. We can decrease it. Yes. Next one, guys. Now, data backup. Think like this, guys. I have 100 GB of data. 100 GB of data. I want to take a backup. Again, you require 100 GB, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, data backup. In traditional, okay, I will write here. Data backup. So, I'm using traditional data warehouse. Traditional data warehouse. In traditional data warehouse, I have 100 GB of data, or like think like this. In your computer, you have 100 GB data. So if I want to take a backup, you require extra 100 GB. Extra 100 GB in traditional data warehouse. But here, when you come to the Snowflake, if you have 100 GB of data, I want to take a backup. You required only 0 GB of data. You don't require anything, guys. You don't require anything. 0 MB or 0, I can say. You don't require anything, but it will take a backup. It will take a backup here. So you not require any extra storage. I can say it will not require any extra storage here. Extra storage. You don't require any extra storage for the data backup. We have a feature here. We have a feature here in Snowflake called zero copy or data cloning. By using this, you can able to maintain a multiple copies of data without extra storage. You can able to maintain a multiple copies of data without extra storage. Without extra storage, you can able to maintain this. You can able to maintain a multiple copies of data without extra storage. You don't require any extra storage. If you want 10 copies of data of this 100 GB also, you can able to maintain that. So when I'm taking the Snowflake class, I'll teach you how you are going to maintain that. First, we'll see only the features today. Next one, guys. We have something here. Data recovery, guys. Data recovery. Think like this. I have some 100 GB of data. Suddenly, my hard disk got crashed. So recovering the data is very difficult here. So data recovery. But Snowflake, you can able to recover the data very easily by a feature called time travel. Guys, please mute, guys. I'm getting some disturbance. Okay. Here in Snowflake, you have a feature called time travel. So whatever the data, if you are going to lose some data, or if you want some historical data, okay, or I want the data of last month data I want, or I have lost some data, I want to recover that, or my database has been crashed, I want to recover that. Easily I can able to recover by a feature called time travel in Snowflake. Time travel is a very important feature in Snowflake. It is going to recover the lost data, or like any, if the data is suddenly updated, you want the previous data, everything you can able to get by using time travel, guys. Next one, guys, data sharing. Data sharing is also one of the good future. Data sharing means think like this. I have some data, guys. I have some data sharing. In traditional data warehouses, what they are going to do, it means I have 10 GB of data, guys. I want to share this data to Sunil. I want to share this data to one of the person. Like, so one of the Snowflake developer, I want to share this data. So what I need to do it here? First, I need to take this 10 GB of data. I need to zip this data. I need to compress or zip this data, compress this data. Then I need to upload this data. Upload this data. Then this is my work. What Sunil is going to do it here? He need to download the compressed data. Download compressed data. He need to uncompress the data. Uncompress the data. Then only he can able to use the data. So this is all again a tedious task. Maybe 10 GB data is there. We have 100 GB data is there. It's very difficult to do all these things, guys. But we have a future here in data sharing in Snowflake. Within minutes, within 1 or 2 minutes, you can able to share the data to the other Snowflake user or this other Snowflake developer. You can able to share the data. So you don't want to do all these things here to share the data. You have a feature called data sharing here. Okay, in the classes I am going to teach you this, how you are going to do this. So in a traditional data warehouses, if you want to share the data, it's a little bit difficult to do the data sharing here. But in Snowflake, we have a data sharing feature. It's very easy to share the data. Whatever the data is that you can able to share it, and you can able to grant the permissions, they can able to use the data. Okay, we have something called change data capture, guys. Change data capture. Okay, now change data capture. These are the features, guys. Each and every feature, I am going to take one class for this every feature. So practically, we are going to do all these features, guys. Practically, we are going to work on these features. Change data capture means think like this. I have a table here. I will mention something like source table. Source table, guys. I have one table. Think like this. I have one table here. Okay. Source table. I have a source table. And I have something like target table, guys. Target table. So I have a source table and target table. I have some records here, guys. In the source table, think like this. I have a records like Anil. These are the records. Some records. Sunil, Sai, and Lava. So these are the records I'm having, guys, in the source table. So whatever the records in the source table, same records I have in the target table. So first I'm getting the data to the source table. Then only I'm loading the data to the target table. If there is anything here, I'm going to remove that. I'm going to load the data here. Okay. Now think like this. Anil record is, we have deleted Anil record here. So we no require the Anil record. But here I have something like Anil record, guys. Anil record. So whatever the changes is happening in the source table, we are going to capture that changes. That is a change data capture. We can say change data capture. So we are going to change all the data capture here. Basis change data. Again, I am going to remove this Lava record here. Now think like this. One record is going to add it here. One record is going to, Kumar record is added here. Kumar record is added here. So same change data is going to capture and it is automatically add this record here. So we have a feature called streams. Streams in Snowflake. Streams in Snowflake. What is those streams means? It will capture the change data. It will capture the change data or change data. Whatever the data is changed, it is going to capture from the source table and we can implement this change data in the target table. Whatever the changes is going to happen in the source table, streams will capture all the changes, and whenever we want, we can able to implement on the target table. So I have two tables. In one table, whatever the changes is going to happen, if I want to implement in the other table, I want to use some feature called streams. It will capture all the changes happening in this table. So if it is a traditional data warehouses, you required extra tools for that. So you required for tools case, you required for extra tools for this case. In a traditional data warehouses, you require the extra tools for this. Okay. And final one, scheduling purpose case, scheduling. So normally I want to run the same task daily, morning and evening guys. So I have one task. I have some SQL query. Think like this task. Some SQL query. I will mention like this. I have some SQL query. Same query I need to execute. Same query I need to execute daily, morning 10 a.m. and evening 10 a.m. or whatever the time, 11 a.m. or time, whatever the time. So daily I want to execute. So what you need to do, it means here. So daily maybe you are available. If you are not available also, automatically it has to run the query. Automatically the query has to be executed, and if there is any data, the data should be loaded. So I need to execute a SQL query, and there is some data, it should be loaded. Data should be loaded by using this query. Data loading should be done. So at the time, what I can do it, I can automate this process. I can able to automate this process. I can use something like I want to automate this process. Because whether the people are available, they are not available, I need to automate this process. For this, I can use something like task. Task is for scheduling in Snowflake. We can use the task for scheduling purpose. So whatever the thing here, you can able to schedule this. We can able to schedule. I can able to schedule this scenario. So I want this SQL query to run morning 10 a.m. and the evening at that is night at 10 p.m. So I can able to use the task for execution. I can able to use for task for scheduling purpose. I can able to schedule a job. So I can use the schedule. I can use the task for scheduling a job. This is the job I have. I can able to schedule it. But if you go for the traditional data warehouses, you require extra tools here. If you go for the traditional data warehouses, you require the extra tools here. You require some extra tools. So these are the features in Snowflake, guys. Like performance, compared to the traditional data warehouses, the performance will be very good. Okay, compared to the traditional data warehouses, the performance will be very good. So we can able to increase, we can able to decrease the performance like that. Like we can do the performance tuning also here. Yes, it will support for SQL. We can able to increase the resources, scalability, data storage will be there, zero maintenance. You don't require any maintenance. Fast in data analysis. We can do the data sharing. So on-demand pricing means whatever you are going to use, you are going to pay for that. It will support for semi-structured data. Semi-structured data. Security is more. We can do the data masking also here. Time travel we have. Fail-safe we have. Fail-safe is one of the future. And data cloning we can able to do it, guys. These are the things. I'll show a Snowflake project how it looks like, guys. So I told you Snowflake support for Azure, Amazon Web Services, and Google Cloud. GCP. We have different clouds. Other than this, I have cloud like IBM Cloud is there, Oracle Cloud is there, but Snowflake support only these three clouds. See here, guys. Snowflake entirely like project look like this case. See here, I have a different data sources. So I'm getting some CSV data, JSON data. I'm getting some Excel data, like CSV data. I am getting text data, or I am getting the data from SQL servers or the RDBMS or MySQL, or I am getting the data from SAP HANA or Amazon Redshift or cloud, any cloud data bases. I'm getting some data. This data, what we need to do, this is the work what we are going to do it in Snowflake. This is the work what we are going to do it in Snowflake. So whenever you are going to get a data, first they will put the data in some of the, maybe here I am using Amazon S3 bucket. or some people will use Azure, some people will use GCP. They are going to put the data from here. This is a cloud. This is the cloud. From cloud, we are going to load the data into the Snowflake tables. We are going to load the data into the Snowflake tables, and we are going to do the transformations there. Okay, this is the how it looked like. So now see here, guys. Here I have given one thing like, if the data is in the local system, think like this. I have a data in my computer. In my computer, I am going to create some internal stage. Think in my computer, I have a data. Then I will create some internal stage. I will load the data into the staging tables. If the data is in the cloud provider, this is a cloud provider, I need to create some external stage and I need to load it to the staging tables. Or guys, again, I'm going to say that just listen this how it is. See here, there are two things, guys. This is my cloud provider. This is my cloud provider. This cloud will be AWS, S3, or GCP, or Azure cloud. Any cloud is here. Or if I have a data in my local system, my computer, I have the data in my local system, my computer. So at that time, if the data is in the local system, I'm going to use a put command, and these commands I will teach you. I'm going to use some internal stage. I'm going to load the data to the staging tables in Snowflake. This is one scenario. Second scenario is if my data is in the cloud, I'm going to create some external stage. I'm going to load the data. Second scenario to the staging tables. So if the data is in the cloud also, I don't want to move the data to the staging tables. I want to make just a connection. I want to make a connection and see the data. At the time, I can use external table. I'll teach you each and everything, guys, in the classes. Just I'm teaching the basics here. I have a Snowpipe, guys. Snowpipe is here. You don't want to load the data. 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 Directly, I'm going to create some automation process. Whenever the data is available here in the cloud, directly it will load the data. You don't want to load the data. Directly it is going to load the data. So this entire thing you are going to work on the project. Getting, guys, what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm going to stop.